Do you feel like you have a firm grip on your season now, Nicksy?
A firm grip. We're always going to have work-ons. Would have been nice to, I guess, get the weekend over the line and come away with a victory, but we're in a position at the moment that we're feeling confident with the way we're playing, but we know there's a lot still to work on.
How about soft drink cans?
Isn't it amazing what makes the media? It was a slippery can. Didn't get on my pants for all those people at home, but I will bring a spare pair this week.
Switching to Coca-Cola this week, mate?
Not a chance. I'm a Pepsi Max man. Pepsi Max.
How did you review the draw with hindsight? Was it one that got away, or was it a fair result?
Not one that got away. I mean, we can't say that when you're halfway through the last quarter, and you'd probably say it's slightly the other way at that point. But we had our opportunities in the third quarter, where we had a lead and momentum, and just dropped off for a minute or two and allowed them to get back into it. Again, we've moved on from that game. We've reviewed. We're on to Collingwood already. In saying that, you asked the question about the game. Yeah, we had our chances towards the end as well, and we've done a little bit more work around that, which we've worked on all through pre-season scenarios and how you get the job done. And sometimes you can get small things wrong in key moments, or not quite perfect. And that's what happened on the weekend.
In that moment where Josh Worrell goes down a couple of minutes after the sub, where probably the least ideal injury that you could have in that moment, what's going through your head?
You guys have surprised me here because we're going way back now. As I said, we've moved on substantially from that game. What's going through our head as a coaching group? Really, how do we now work our way through this second half, knowing that we'll be one rotation down, which is not a disaster. I mean, it's people panic in that moment. We know our high performance guys have done a hell of a lot of work to get us in good nick, and so we're able to see that out with 3 players to rotate, which we did. We finished strong in the game, but I mean, in hindsight, you look at it and go, wow, it would have been nice to have that sub ready to go. But again, we'll continue to make decisions around what we believe is our impact player or the sub, and we will take some chance with that. We're going to get on the front foot and do what we believe is best for the team and best for the outcome of the game.
You said you were beaten aerially in the game, all around the ground. How do you saw that happening against the Pies? Was that something that Lions did to you, or was it more about how you guys attacked the contest?
It's a combination. I think the Lions were really strong, and they did own the air, unfortunately, against us in that game. So we've found ourselves in this position before and been able to work our way out of it pretty quickly. And so we've worked our way through that. We'll train today. We'll take our opportunities when we can to get that right. And then go in with belief against the Pies that we won't be beaten in that area.
That Pies forward line looks very different with how many injuries they've got, but I guess you're still wary as to they find a way to kick goals, don't they, that side, no matter what, no matter who the personnel is.
Yeah, they're obviously one of the highest quality sides in the competition. That's why they've been up there, and that's why they're the benchmark at the moment. Now, every team's got injuries at this point. There's a substantial amount of injuries across the league. Collingwood have their challenges in that space. We have a number of players out as well. So, we know we're going to have our work cut out for us. We're on the MCG against Collingwood. There's not many challenges that are quite as big as that.
Rotten luck for Josh, but great reward for him to sign on.
Yeah, and that's been done for a little bit of time, and so disappointing really. It would have been nice to announce off the back of a performance where it wasn't I guess such a disappointing result for him as an individual. In fact, it's disappointing for our team because he's become a really important part of that back line. Josh has always been a leader at our footy club, but he's taken huge steps in that space. So we will miss that, but it'll be an opportunity for now someone else to step up. But Josh's reward is, the fact that we hope he's going to be here as a long-term player at this footy club, and a really important one, and one that in time will be recognised, officially as a leader. So, a great result.
Sorry, what's your gut feel about how you're replacing Josh on field?
For this weekend or longer term? We're confident we've got the guys ready to step into that. I mean, Borlase has been Yeah, he's taken his game to another level now. Will Hamill's been playing in our system for a long period of time, and occasionally he's unlucky not to be playing in that side. So both of those guys are ready to step up. We've got Oscar Ryan coming through as a young player as well, who's playing some great footy at SANFL. So we have other options there. I guess one person's disappointment is another person's opportunity.
How do you find that balance for Isaac Ranken playing in the midfield and the forward line?
We'll continue to manage that one. It'll be one where, I think I've mentioned it before, it's we love what he does around the ball, and I guess the more we can have the ball in Isaac's hands, the better for us as a team. We also love what he does down in front of goals, and he's there's not many in the competition that are able to finish off our work or their work like he does. So we're mindful of taking him too far away from our goals.
I think he had the 5 coaches' votes, and I think Jordan had the 10. So, but Isaac, is it about for him being able to perform consistently across 4 quarters? Because looking from afar, particularly that last quarter, just kicked 3 goals to the game as well. That last quarter where he kind of burst to life and to somewhat kept you in it.
Yeah, and that's probably the opportunity. That's what a lot of people will be looking at and saying, well, was he around the ball in that period of time where he could impact? Is he able to kick goals as a midfielder? And we'll continue to look at that. I believe he is, and I think in time he may become, that bona fide mid. He wants to be there. He's got every attribute to be there. It'll be now we're working through our squad, our team, what's best for our team. And maybe that possibility of who's going to step up ahead of the ball if Isaac's playing full-time on ball.
And as you've seen him develop in the last 12 months, he spoke the other day about he really wants to start to become a leader and become more consistent. He's learning off Dawson leading. Have you seen that elevation come quickly now?
Yeah, Isaac for me was a leader when he arrived, but I think his belief in himself's gone to another level, which has been really pleasing. And he's not the only one. I think a lot of our players now, I mentioned Josh Worrell before, even Josh Rochelle at the moment is one who's starting to understand the importance of teammates, the importance of what we're doing as a group, and that's the most positive thing for us at the moment. When you get guys like Isaac that want to lead, they want to take control in games, organise and instruct on field, that's when the group starts to perform at another level.
How have you viewed Curtin's first 2 games?
Yeah, it's been pleasing. I mean, I know we've subbed him out in both games. There's always a challenge as a young player coming in, especially a key defender, or a key position behind the ball player. One small mistake and you're exposed, and everyone sees that in the game, and it's because a goal comes off the back of it. I think if you come in as a forward in the competition, you can fly under the radar a little bit, but as a key defender, what we've seen is it takes it a little bit longer to develop. But we've been really pleased with what Dan's brought. He's going to have his challenges. He's a first-year player that's come in and he's played in a couple of huge games for us. So we'll continue to work through that with Dan, but we're really confident of what we're going to see longer term.
You have to put arm around the shoulder of him this week after, like you say, having subbed a couple of times and let him know that it's a long career and he's got plenty. Yeah,
it's open communication. Even during the game, half-time, when we make that call, Dan and I will have a chat through it. And he understands. He's clear on what it is we're doing as a team and where he fits in that, and I guess the impact he's having and how positive it is for us. And the change on the weekend was really the opportunity that existed for us to then bring another player into the game at that point fresh. So he's clear around his role and what we need from him.
I think you said before you brought him in on a standout sample game that you did want to rush him.
Yeah.
Do you think maybe you have in hindsight?
No, not at all. I think it'll be one we look back on and say he'll benefit from playing at this level. As we've seen with other players in the past. I mean, we mentioned Josh Worrell before. He's probably the best test case I've seen for, us to go back on and say, well, let's go back and look at Josh's first game, which was after 3 years of playing with us at SANFL level.
I remember him doing that, signaling him come up to the bench like,
I need a rest.
Yeah, need a rest.
Yeah, and sometimes being in the position to go out there and experience the step up in speed and power, how fast the game plays out, is a really important one for you to go through as a young player. No matter the position you're in, as I mentioned before, when you are a defender, it can be quite exposing. But I think it's a great one for players to go through. And then what you often see off the back of that is they go away and they go to work and they say, okay, these are the areas, especially the professionals, and Dan fits into that category. There's not many better. He's a competitive, hungry player who wants to be the best.
The knee he hurt in pre-season, is he fully fit? Because I felt like when he first came, the way he moved was so impressive. It feels as though he's not moving as freely as when he maybe arrived at the club.
And that could be there could be a fatigue component of that. It's not something that we're concerned about at this point in time. Those sort of things might be something people are looking at from the outside when we're definitely not in that space.
Do you stick with Dan this week?
Well, possibly. We haven't selected the side as yet. There'd be no reason we wouldn't, but at the same time, there's a few opportunities for us as well with guys in form. I mentioned Hamill, I mentioned Borlace. We'll look at the matchups as well, and as you said before, there is a change in Collingwood's forward line slightly from what it has been, and so we'll make some decisions off the back of that.
You've done Ben Casey did an amazing job on Dacos, maybe in the first game last year and maybe not so in the second. Do you send someone to him again this week?
There'll be a fair bit of attention around Dacos. He's there's not many better than him in the competition, and he is hard to stop. Whether that's a full tag or whether that's definitely a team focus. He's an outstanding player, and there's not many that impact the game as much as he does. We have a huge respect for their team, huge respect for him as an individual, and we'll play that out. It won't be one thing we've locked in on. We've got a couple of plans in place.
What's the feeling like amongst the boys travelling to Melbourne to play against the reigning premiers?
Oh, we can't wait. Yeah, we're really looking forward to it. We had a couple of really exciting battles with them last year. We love playing on the MCG. We don't get on there very often. We get a chance to train down there on Friday as well, which is rare. We haven't had that in the past, so we appreciate the AFL giving us that opportunity, the MCG. But our boys really enjoy going down there. They enjoy a challenge, and as I mentioned before, there's none bigger than this one.
2 points was the difference last time you played them. 2 points was the difference. Yeah. Does that give you a little bit of hope they can just get those extra couple of points this time around?
We've done a fair bit of work on scenarios, and there are not too many teams in the competition that have played in, I guess, close games than Collingwood. And they found a way to get across the line in a lot of those games. So we've done a fair bit of work around, what it's going to take. It'd be nice if the game's in that position and we're able to get it done.
You sit 2 games out of the 8 and Collingwood's obviously sitting in 8th. And you've spoken early in the season about you guys have probably got maybe focused on outcome rather than process. So early still in the season, but it is such a crucial game. How do you keep the guys' mind on the job and not worrying about what could happen, and I guess keep them playing that attacking brand of football that gets the job done?
Yeah, that's our challenge, but I believe our guys are in that space at the moment. They've understood. We've probably found our way there through experience. When our focus was possibly on outcome, and we weren't able to avoid that noise, the job wasn't done. Since we've really nailed it back to what our values are and what our process is, I think we've played a footy at a different level, and the results have come our way. Not necessarily all of them, but we come off the ground feeling pretty proud of what we put out there. So our guys now know process is what will get the job done for us, at least get us to play at our level. And then, are we good enough to beat the opposition on the day? That's the test.
You skipper Jordan Dawson was a little bit sore after the game. Say you're good.
Yeah, he's good, but there will be some management today. We're on a 6-day break, so there'll be a few players out there just so we don't get jumpy. And Dawson will be one that won't train. Definitely not contact today. Tex as well. There are things we're going to have to do from a management point of view. Lairdy, Saligo probably won't have a lot of contact today. But that's predetermined off the back of the game on the weekend. 6-day break. These are things we're always going to look at.
I'm sure you'll say the competition's very even and you can't take it all that sort of stuff. But given the run of 3 games you've got after this, I think Isaac highlighted it earlier in the week as well. How nice would it be to maybe nick this one and then really launch into what seems like a pretty winnable month?
We'll be trying to win this one, yeah.
Can I just ask, have you noticed a shift in holding the ball or what's not holding the ball recently, in the last month or so?
No. I try not to lose myself in that space. We've got other things we're working on that I prioritise well and truly over, I guess, the decision making. And I mean, we get decisions wrong in games as players. We get them wrong as coaches. it's human nature. The umpires will make decisions that aren't 100% right. I don't lose myself in that space at all.